Will New England have a Super Bowl hangover? Will the Buffalo Bills return to the top of the division? And will Aaron Glenn actually win a game for the New York Jets? This is the AFC East division predictions with the Big Score Podcast. All right, fellas, AFC East. Last year was a really, really interesting division. Everyone picked the Bills at the beginning of the season, but the Patriots came out of nowhere and shocked the world with Mike Vrabel. And Drake May obviously taking a major step forward and going, not only winning the division, but going all the way to the Super Bowl and obviously falling a little bit short against the greatest quarterback of them all, Sam Darnold. But, it's a new year. It's 2026. Things change. So with that being said, we're not going to start with the Patriots. We're going to start with the bad teams in the division. We're going to go ahead and get these out of the way so we can actually give the viewers what they want.
Bills.
Miami. Not great for any of us.
They suck. Next slide.
We don't really have to stay too long on this one, guys. They're going to win 2 games. We all agree. We differentiate on what 2 games, but they're going to win 2, and that's it. No. I don't know, Dan. Brad gave them a win in the beginning. You have them going on a losing streak, while not as long as mine. But you got them beating the Patriots first. That was an interesting one I saw. I mean, I haven't beaten the Bills first, but Patriots, first win, all the way in week 8. The Raiders?
I do think the Raiders, now with the Genti injury, I still think the Raiders are a more complete team. I don't think outside of Miami can anybody name 5 starters at all. Kicker, punter, special team, defense, doesn't matter. Name 5 starters. I don't know if anybody can do it outside of Miami. Half people don't even know who their coach is.
It's true.
It is a mess. The Raiders, again, they have a better team. Yeah, their defense is kind of a little wonky, but they still have Crosby. They went and got some guys, some linebackers out there. I think they got signed 4 of them in the offseason. Throwaways on other teams, but dudes that can still tackle. I think the Raiders are a way more complete team than the Dolphins. So,
that's sad to say.
I don't think Malik Willis is the next big thing. I think he's a fine quarterback. They'll give him a little bit of some running ability and maybe throw a couple teams off, but not enough to win them a lot of games. So, the Patriots, they travel down to Miami. It could be a hot one. And I think that's really the only thing is it's going to be hot in Miami, and it's a divisional game. So those always get weird. Teams that know each other pretty well year after year. So I don't think the Dolphins are going to go winless. But I think they're going to get a couple games, and they're going to be against AFC East opponents, one being the Patriots and one being the Jets. Like you mentioned earlier, the Patriots did really well last year going to the Super Bowl. I didn't think they were a surprise team to be better. I thought they would make the playoffs last year. Them going over the Super Bowl was a bit surprising. Sorry. I think my mic was kind of getting weird.
No, you're good.
But yeah, them going over the Super Bowl was surprising. I thought they'd be a good team, but I think they're going to come back down to earth a little bit. So I could easily see them dropping a game to a team like the Dolphins. So that's where I see, 2 wins for the Dolphins, 1 for the Patriots, 1 to the Jets, and that's about it.
Yeah, the Miami is a pretty easy decision here, Brad. Although I think you're a little bit more confident in the Raiders in the Dolphins over the Raiders, though, because you got them beating them in week 1. To decide the first pick in the draft is kind of what it comes out.
100%. Raiders defense is just god awful, and I think that Willis and A-Chain being as mobile as they are, I think that they're going to give them some fits. But that's pretty much it. Other than that, they really don't have a prayer against the rest of the schedule. I haven't given a win against the Jets just because they coming out there bye week and it's the Jets. I have no faith in the Jets either. We'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah, I basically had to give them 2 wins, but no, I don't have confidence in them. Like Dan tested 2. Can't really name a whole lot of players on their team. I do like the rookie Chris Bell, but he's coming off injury himself, and how much is he going to do? Malik Willis, in my opinion, is not yet proven to be a quality NFL starter, although he did get a 3-year contract. But hopefully he does well. Not wishing bad on him or anything, but
no, of course not.
I just don't see it. They're playing for the future right now. They don't expect themselves to do anything this season. They reset that franchise this past year. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, they're definitely going to compete for a top 3 pick easily.
No, I completely agree. And to touch on what you said about Malik Willis's contract, while you're right, they did give him a 3-year contract and they gave him some pretty good money too. Yeah. That guarantee ends after next season. So
right.
They're not. It's not a full 3-year contract. They can easily get out of it after the second season, and I think they probably will because I think they're going to finish in the top 3 in the NFL for drafting, and I think they're going to pick their quarterback of the future. And I think that's why they've done all the roster moves they've made this year. They did not make any roster moves that tell me they're trying to win football games. They made roster moves to try to clear cap and prepare for the next future of the franchise. I feel bad for Achane. He's a really good player. He's kind of stuck on a bad team, and everyone's going to put focus on him. I hope he stays healthy because they're going to ultra focus on shutting him down, and that just means more bodies on you, and that means more hits. So I just hope he stays healthy. But I agree with both of y'all. There's not really too much more to go into the Dolphins. I gave them 2 wins. I think they'll shock they're going to shock somebody on this schedule. I picked Buffalo at Buffalo. It just felt kind of right for Buffalo to lose a game at home against a bad team, and then the Jets are just as bad.
Yeah,
I gave them a win at home against the Jets. I could see them winning only 1 game, to be completely honest. That Buffalo game I picked, but they could easily lose that one and maybe beat the Jets. They could honestly go 0-17. I know we're gonna get shit for that, but in reality, this is just not a good football team. No matter how much the Dolphin fans and the Twitter junkies want to defend them, if they're not that good.
Yeah, it's hard to go perfect either way, whether it's no losses or no wins. So somebody somewhere along the line is going to have a bad week against them, and they're going to get a W.
Yep. So that's about the Dolphins. Now let's get to the next worst team. They finished 3rd for everybody. Brad felt a little bit bad for the Jets. He gave them 4 wins, but me and Dan copied up each other's schedules, obviously, because we literally picked the same games. But it felt right from my end. I can tell you that. I can see them starting out with a win against the Titans. The Titans are a bad football team too. I don't think they're maybe as bad as the Jets, but they are a bad football team. Cam Ward has looked awful in the preseason. I don't know why. What's going on with that? Maybe it's a new offense. Look, new coach, new offense. Things can be going on, but he has just looked awful. He's not finding his reads. He's not seeing things down the field. He's throwing awful balls. Even when he finds his target, they're not even on target. He just found the receiver finally and actually hit him, somewhere within the vicinity of their hands. But I wouldn't say it was a good pass by any means. The Titans. We'll get to the Titans in our AFC South video, but it's just I can see a win by the Jets there, just coming out good. Aaron Glenn spent all off season trying to get that defense right. I don't think they tried to get the offense right. I don't think Geno is going to get that offense right. I think the Jets are also a team that is trying to get a top 5 pick to get a quarterback in the 2027 draft.
No.
But yeah, so I gave him a win against the Browns and obviously a win against the Dolphins. So, after that, it's just going to be sad. And they're going to be hoping to get a top 3 pick, if not top 5 pick. But Dan, I know you have the same record, so you've kind of felt the same way, I guess.
All right. I have no faith in Cam Ward. The Jets will have a pick by Q2 of the season. I think I don't have a lot of faith in the Titans offense. And again, the Browns are a good team. I just don't like their quarterback situation. Like you just mentioned, the Jets put focus on defense. Bad Browns quarterback, better Jets defense can lead to a Jets win. Again, the Dolphins, there's another one there. Maybe they beat the Dolphins twice. I know we both had them losing to the Dolphins later on in the season. Maybe they get 4 wins that way. The Jets, again, the playmakers are good on the Jets. I like their playmakers. Maybe their offensive line's a little better. I don't like Geno. I don't think Geno was the right decision. I think they should have went and got another young quarterback. I don't think J.J. McCarthy would have been available. But go get a guy like Will Levis. Even if Levis is terrible, good. You still get a good draft pick. And if he's decent, well, then you actually have a decent quarterback. Geno does nothing for you why did you sign Geno? Oh, yeah, he comes back to the Jets. He wasn't good with you the first time. It's not like a nice reunion. It isn't like, oh, come back and be good for us, Geno. No, it's too late for him. I don't know what the Jets are doing. They'll probably be too good for a top 2 pick. Maybe they get a top 3 pick, maybe a top 4 pick. They feel like their defense should be improved, which is going to win them a couple games. And they have too many good players on offense to be awful. I mean, 3 wins is awful, but I could see them sneaking up to 4 or 5 wins, even if it's, Brady Cook coming in for Geno at some point. Or Geno just somehow turns back the clock a couple of years and has a couple of good games. I don't know what they were doing there, but they're going to get a couple wins. And it looks like we have the same 3. Yeah, Brad, what are you thinking? We all have them beating the Browns.
Yeah, that's a toilet bowl right there. But I don't have a whole lot of faith in the Jets. Their strength of schedule is pretty hard. They got the 12th hardest schedule in the league this year, but they tried to get some pieces on the defensive side, I think, to help Aaron Glenn instill his system. They brought in Demario Davis, who we all know and love from being Saints fans. He can control and lead a locker room. They brought in Minkah Fitzpatrick, who's I feel like a good safety at that position. He's been a veteran for a long time, but I still don't believe in him as a whole. You can tell that Aaron Glenn's a defensive focused player because that's what most of the things they addressed in the offseason was to bring in veterans that can help lead and get this defense back on the track to what they were hoping they were getting with the signing of Aaron Glenn. However, I agree with y'all. I don't like the Geno signing. I would have thought they would have went after a guy, like you said, a Will Levis, or even like an Anthony Richardson, somebody that need a change of scenery. Yeah, change of scenery, spark, whatever, but they just didn't do that. They went with someone that is like a journeyman quarterback, but you know what you're getting with him. So or they could have just brought him in because they knew they weren't just going to be good and they just wanted to solidify a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's really what it felt like.
Yeah, I do have them rattling off 4 wins, but if you look at my stuff, it's against bottom feeders in the league. Cardinals, Dolphins, Raiders, I have it, and the Browns, which I don't have faith in any of those teams. So
you essentially have them playing out of a top 3 pick because wins against the Cardinals, the Dolphins, and the Browns and the Raiders will literally put them out of a top 3 pick.
Yeah,
it could actually put them at 5 out of the top 5 because of these wins.
Yeah, and that's what my thought is because, like Dan said, they have talent, just not in the spots where it matters most. I hate to say it like that, but you can have all the skill position players. If somebody can't get him the ball or throws as many touchdowns to the other team as his own, it's not going to matter. And they couldn't really stop anybody I think they didn't have a turnover all year last year, which was first time in NFL history that a defense has never had a turnover all year long. Yeah. When your coach is supposed to be a defensive specialist.
Exactly.
It's like, what the fuck are we doing? It's like, what are you doing? And for as some divisions we've talked about in the past, they're like even keeled where it's very competitive. This one is split right down the middle. It's 2 very top heavy teams and 2 bottom feeders.
Yep.
So
and speaking of the 2 top teams, the one that won the division last year, I don't think we're not saying they're doing good this year, guys. I mean, 9-8, Brad, you did go 10-7 with them. There's a lot of agreement here, honestly. I don't know, Brad. You went 10-7. Why do you think they're going to win that extra game?
Continuity. I still think that they brought back most of their team. They tried to give Drake May a weapon, which he didn't have before, in A.J. Brown. He also has good coach-player relationship, being that Vrabel did draft him back in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. So I think that they're going to feature him and get him the ball more, and I think that's going to open up their run game. And they have 2 capable backs. I know you don't really care for Ramondre, but he can do it all. Henderson provides him a spark with his speed, big playmaking ability. So I think that having a top-tier weapon like A.J. Brown on the outside is going to open up that offense for him. And I still think their defense is decent. But being in the weak division they usually should have at least 4 easy plug-in wins. So then I got them winning, 6 out of the next 13 games. So it's not like they're doing,
Not doing
like
much.
not like they're setting the world on fire. But I do see them taking a step back from the Super Bowl hangover loss.
Yep.
But we'll get to it in a minute. But that division, we know where this division runs through. So
I agree. Dan, man, you got them starting 5-1 and then getting streaky to end the season. I guess you just think they're going to start hot, still high from that Super Bowl, even though they lost, still high from it, and then just the wheels are going to fall off, kind of. Or
yeah, I mean they're a good team. Last year, I think both them and the Broncos are kind of in similar situations in my mind. I thought both were going to be good teams last year. Both, made it to the AFC West, the AFC Championship game. I felt like it was almost a year too soon that they kind of got, I don't want to say overconfident, but their team overperformed. They had weaker records, weaker schedules coming into the season, took advantage of that, had great records going to the playoffs, got some home games. And again, the Patriots made all the way to the Super Bowl. They're still a good team, but now their schedule's harder. They still have a young quarterback who, now has A.J. Brown to throw to, but he had Stephon Diggs last year, and they had a good connection. But just they don't feel fully complete yet. I think Vrabel even came out and talked about the depth on the team. They don't feel like that they're at the upper echelon of NFL teams. I think we're going to see that this year. They're going to beat some good teams. They're also going to lose some bad games. Like we talked about, they might lose the Dolphins. They might lose the Jets. Tough AFC games, but they're still a young quarterback. They're working out some things. Is Travion Henderson really going to take over Ramondre at some point? They're going to just run Ramondre into the ground. I know McDaniels likes to use 2 backs. No one ever really gets featured. Kind of interested to see how that offense is going to go. The defense should be fine, but again, not a ton of superstars anywhere. I don't know if I'm ready to count them as one of the top 5 teams in the AFC. And I think we're going to see that this year.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm kind of on board with you there, Dan. 9-8. I do have them starting a little bit weaker, but in reality, this team, I think, like you said, they had a very weak schedule last year. Now they got a very hard schedule this year. And it's going to show. They're just not a fully deep, talented team. The offense is probably going to end up being a little bit better. Drake May's a top 3 NFL quarterback. I know that may seem a little aggressive to some, but he is. He's a very good quarterback. And I think giving him a stable head coach last year showed his growth. And I think he'll continue to grow. I mean, he's got a great offensive coordinator. I know he can't be a head coach because of whatever's wrong with him, but
hey, some guys are just better coordinators.
Yeah. He couldn't do it with the Broncos, and he ran away from the Colts at the last minute. So, I think they're just going to be a streaky team. I think the Super Bowl and playing that long is going to affect the team. And I think Drake May's still going to have a very good year. I think A.J. Brown's going to have an average year. And I think it's going to come down really to the defense and Vrabel's side of the ball. And I just don't know if they're going to be able to withstand 17 games again and still against harder opponents.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to say that, and I forgot to mention that. I think last year they had like a second easiest schedule in the league, and now they go like to having the 6th hardest in the league. So that's total opposite end of the spectrum. So I think that'll give them also a reality check.
The Chiefs are considered, a bad team coming into the year, and I think we all expect the Chiefs to be a lot better. I don't have them losing against a lot of bad teams, but they don't play a lot of bad teams. Really, the bad teams are just the 2 in their division. And the Steelers maybe. Yeah.
No, their gauntlet is week 9 to 13. If you look at that, I know there are bye weeks in between it, but Green Bay, Detroit, Chargers, Bills, that could easily. I know I have them sneaking a win in there in the Chargers, but that could easily be 4 straight losses. So
I think looking at it, we all gave them just 1 win within that stretch.
Yeah.
But honestly, I mean, I did give them a win against the Broncos, but I could easily see that being a loss and them being a losing record toward the end of the season. They do get lucky and get Minnesota, the Jets, and the Dolphins on odd weeks right there. I guess even weeks technically, but in between some harder opponents, and that's going to help them get their record up. But
Yeah.
it's just going to be a rough year for them. They need to just, batten down the hatches, take their punches, and then circle back for next year and try to work and improve that defense. Because you improve that defense, Drake May is going to win a Super Bowl at some point in his career.
Yeah, I agree.
So now on to the number one team of the division, and we're all really confident in them. I'm a little bit more confident than Dan and you.
Dan?
I know. I thought so when I was putting this together. Daniel was just angry at them to start the season, but then he felt a little bit bad, and he just let them rattle off. What is that, 10 in a row?
They're a good team. I hate their coach. Not that I hate Joe Brady. I hate what they're doing. Why fire a coach to do the same thing?
Yeah.
Like, it felt like we're making a change because something needs to change, but we don't know what to change, so we're not going to change anything.
That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it.
It really
is. What are
you
doing? And I think that's going to kind of like, we're going to be a good offense coming out, but our defense is going to
suck now.
Tough games. There are 5 good teams. They're not going to get blown out of the water. Brady's still going to be there as their head coach. Not like he's going to get fired for 5 games. But they right the ship. They get a win at Vegas, at Vegas. Going on their bye week, get their head straight. Coming out of a tough game against the Ravens, but you get obviously easier weeks. Vikings still going to be a good team, but you have some cushion after the bye week to get yourself rolling, and then they're gonna keep on that roll. When Josh Allen starts going, he's gonna bowl some people over. It's a nice metaphor for the team because they're gonna bowl some opponents over up until that Broncos game towards the end of the season. They're a good team. They should be competitive in every single game, but they're also the Bills. We've seen them do some stupid things. I could that to start the season, we've seen them struggle at Houston before, and then got some tough games right after that. So they should not go 0-5, but I can very much see them starting 0-5.
I was about to say they should, but at least it's all against some heavy hitters. I mean,
correct. It's against teams that are all pretty much going to finish 1 or 2 in their divisions.
Yeah,
I want to hear everybody talking about how the Jets and they have the same record as the Dolphins, and everybody's gonna be out on the Bills. I can say, no, I'm backing on the Bills.
Yeah, Brad, you got that. You're the most confident going into the bye week with them. I have them at 3-3 going on the bye, but you got them at 5-1.
Yeah.
So you just. I mean, you're high on them, obviously, but you haven't kind of slipping up toward the end of the season.
I do have them slipping up towards the end of the season. I basically ride the Josh Allen train. I think he's the best quarterback in the league. Sometimes, like Dan just said, they make some stupid mistakes. I think sometimes he gets a little hero ballish when he doesn't need to. But I think with the addition of DJ Moore, it's bringing him in another receiving weapon that he hasn't really had in the last 2 years. But I think that'll help him out a little bit. Need to feature James Cook some more, and I think you will start seeing that with Brady taking over and kind of probably making some more calls on his end, being an offensive-minded coach. But I do agree with Dan. I think like with the release of McDermott, he kind of like was the one that was turned that program around, so to speak, and made them contenders. So it'd be interesting to see how they bounce back now that they have a different coach. But I do have them kind of slipping up towards the end of the year. And I think that's just, I don't know. I think something's going to go wrong with health to somebody later in the year. The Kansas City game, I think Josh Allen always beats him in the regular season. If I remember right, looking back on history, I think Mahomes is back, and I think he takes the win in that one. And then during the end of the season, I think that the Broncos and the Bears are going to get over on them. But I still see them at the top of the division. I still think they're going to be top 2 or 3 seed in the AFC in total. But it runs through them. Josh Allen's too good for it not to if he's healthy. So,
no, I mean, I agree. I am very high on the Bills this year. I do think that early in the season with the coaching changes and Brady coming in, trying to get everything settled in, there may be some players that may have still felt a little hurt that the coach got fired and all that stuff. So it's going to take them a little while to get the wheels moving. But once that bye week hits, I do see them rolling and that offense clicking good. Josh Allen is going to probably win MVP this year. He is the best quarterback in the NFL. And, me saying all this, putting them 13-4, if they finished 9-8 and the Patriots finished 11-6 or 13-4 or something like that, I wouldn't be shocked. Seeing Brady come in, first time being a head coach, I like Joe Brady. I didn't expect him to be the Bills head coach. Honestly, I thought he would go somewhere like Cincinnati, team back up with Burrow, or maybe go to another team with a really good quarterback. He got lucky and got to stay on and be the head guy. I think the Saints even interviewed him or tried to interview him for the job before Kellen took it last year. But yeah, no, they're a very good team. Their defense is still really good. Their offense is going to take a step up. I agree with DJ Moore's comment. He's the best receiver Josh Allen has ever had on his team, and that includes Prime Diggs. I think DJ Moore is more talented than Prime Diggs when it comes to what Josh Allen needs from a wide receiver. I did see, he did kind of tweak his ankle, I think, or get a little bit of an injury early on in training camp or preseason. But hopefully,
contact running down the field. Preseason. Get the bounce.
I know. Hopefully he's 100%. But no, I think he's in a better situation too, leaving Chicago and that terrible quarterback. So,
I do want to say this: the Bills don't want to win a home game until they get their stadium fixed. So that's why they're going to start out with some losses. They want their fans to see them win a game.
Bills Mafia, man. But no, I agree with you on the DJ Moore thing. But I guess the reason why we're still so high on him is he's done it the last 2 years without a viable receiving option. So
yeah,
it's like if they can click and get on the same page, it's only going to be that more potent for him offensively.
Yep. So looking at our division, we kind of went through all the individual teams. It's very clear. We said it earlier. There are two juggernauts at the top. I know the Patriots look like they're a little bit down, but they're a good team. I can see them finishing 10-7 or 11-6, depending on how some things fall for them. I think they're going to have a little bit more of a hangover. And we similarly agree. And then it's just two awful teams in this league that are vying for the number 1 and number 2 picks.
Yeah.
It's just that's how this division is going to face. But any final thoughts before we wrap up the AFC East?
No, not too much.
Jets and Dolphins will not combine for the second best team. Add their wins up. They will not be number 2.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was the AFC East division predictions show. If you like what you hear, please like and subscribe. We're going through all of our divisions. We only got a few more left, so stick around and let's see how this thing ends with us.